F8 and be there. It's got to be one of the best phrases I've heard in a long time. Actually, I think I would say, if I could only offer one piece of advice for the rest of my life, it's perfect. F8 and be there. Although not necessarily F8, but the definitely be there bit. I saw it on a Tony and Chelsea Northrup video where they mentioned F8 and be there, and it's Tony and Chelsea's car number plate, which is very disappointing because that is better than my F11 Heaton number plate. And as for that photo that I just stopped to take, well, I've been looking at a lot of Andreas Gursky's work recently, so I'm hypersensitive to graphical images and repetition. So I spotted a scene that it just jumped out at me, which I don't necessarily think I would have shot if I hadn't been indulging in Gursky's work so much, and you'll see why in next week's video. So I'll throw that image up on screen, and then we'll get to our next location, our proper location. That was just a quick, spontaneous roadside stop. F8 and be there. I think I'm going to get it tattooed. Oh man. But it is, seriously though, it is definitely the one piece of advice that I would offer to anybody. How many times have I sat at home procrastinating, watching YouTube videos, dreaming about all the landscapes that I'm probably missing? And very rarely do you actually just get up and go out anywhere. Like here, this is a brand new location for me, never walked down this footpath. And I'm having the time of my life. I had no expectations. I just got in my van and drove. And now, I think I've spotted my second image. And this is an infrared camera. So, yeah, looking forward to this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got this camera. It's an XT3 that I converted about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now. I can't remember, but I'll link to a video where I talk more about this camera, but it's fantastic, especially now in springtime as the leaves are just starting to come onto the trees. And this got me excited because we have fresh green foliage and obviously the flowing river beneath it. Now, water doesn't reflect infrared light, whereas the leaves, man, even though it's not really that sunny of a day, these leaves will be reflecting all of the infrared light that's bouncing around that we can't see. Convert to black and white and you can get some really striking images. So I've decided to come back to the van for a spot of lunch because we are an hour and a half in from sunset, and at the minute conditions are not great. Not entirely sure this is going to fit in this pan. Oh yes. So if you keep walking along the river where I took that last photograph, you come out to a beautiful big lake. But at the minute, there's no light and there's too much wind, so the whole thing is not looking great. However, the forecast is for the wind to drop, and if the wind drops, then we don't necessarily need to worry about light. That's my thinking anyway. Oh, this is nice. This is really nice. I've just finished my dinner. I've got my door wide open, looking out onto a river that's running across the front of the van. It's a beautiful evening. And, you know, it's so funny because I get this a lot and I hear it from other photographers a lot as well. And that is that, you know, you look on Instagram and you see all these amazing images and you want these images, you're desperate for them in your portfolio,
You always question yourself, should I go out? It's a long drive, it's an early start, it's a big hike. You tend to wait for the perfect conditions. And then only if everything's perfect and everything lines up do you go. And quite often then your expectations are dashed completely, and then slowly but surely you fall out of love with photography. Whereas if you just follow the F8 and be there rule, thanks Tony and Chelsea for enlightening me with this wonderful phrase, just follow that rule. Again, not necessarily the F8 bit, but definitely the be there bit. Don't check the weather unless you're going into the mountains, then definitely check the weather. But if you're just going out with your camera on a day, just commit, just build the habit, just have everything ready in the morning, get up and go, because you'll always find a moment, you'll always find a composition, and you'll have a wonderful time, especially if you don't have the expectations. The only expectation you should have is just to be there.
So it was my birthday recently, and I got 3 new things, and I'm going to show you them. And this jacket is one of them, off my wonderful wife, and that is going to keep me nice and warm as I go and back to the lake, chasing that sunset. The next thing that I got for my birthday was a present, a gift from myself to myself, because I'm quite sad. But look, I got myself a brand new Garmin Fenix 7 Solar Sapphire. It's like the top model. Prior to this, I had the Fenix 3, and I had that watch for nearly 10 years, and it finally failed on me, and I couldn't get it to charge anymore or hold a charge. So I thought, do you know what? It's been 10 years, it's been good. I'm happy to go for the latest model. Wasn't cheap, mind you, but has 2 things in particular that are very cool. One, it has built-in maps. I don't know if you can see that there. Yeah, there we go. It's got built-in maps. And the second is it has a flashlight on it. How cool is that? So this is on red at the minute, but it's also got 3 levels of whiteness, varying brightnesses. So yeah, a Garmin Fenix 7 Solar Sapphire. Well, so much for the weather forecast. Man, it definitely said that by 8 p.m. it was going to drop to 0. Well, we'll still try and get a shot anyway, but before we do that, let me show you the third thing I got for my birthday, which I think is the coolest thing. So we've got this lovely jacket, we've got the watch, but this is something that I've used every single day since I got it. It was off my mum and dad, and I love it. It's my new favorite thing. Check this out. A Swiss Army knife, but not just any Swiss Army knife. It's like the full fat version, full beans. It's got everything, and I'm using it every single day. It comes in handy. It's got pliers, it's got everything you would expect. But what I didn't realize, I'm so sorry, 2 things that I didn't realize, and honestly, we will get onto the photography. One is that in this Swiss Army knife, there is a pin. I had no idea that Swiss Army knives had pins. And secondly, it took me a while to figure it out, but this is a pen. Incredible, a pen. So there you go. I am now the outdoors man. I am equipped for the outdoors. I've got the jacket, got the GPS watch, and of course the Swiss Army knife. That's not going to help me get a photograph though. No, it isn't. So before I went back to my van for dinner, I had a walk down here, and this caught my eye. This is this higgledy-piggledy fence thing that's running into the water, with a nice array of boulders in front of it, but most importantly, a beautiful backdrop. And with the idea fresh in my mind that by 8:30 p.m. this would be a mirror-reflected pond, a mirror reflection, that was it. This was going to be my shot. But now there's no light at all. The wind is just persistent. It's not stopping, and it's just not looking great. But I think if we go for a longer exposure, I'm gonna take the shot anyway. I'm gonna see what it looks like. Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think this is gonna be my finest work. But that's okay, because it's never your finest work. Like, this is what you've got to put up with as a landscape photographer more often than not, is the wind, the lack of light, the mediocrity, the frustration. But every now and then, you'll get these moments of near perfection where you get the light and you get the conditions, and you only experience that if, say it with me, if you F8 and be there. Love it, man, love it. It's my favourite saying ever. It's just going to be in every single video from now on. But my point is that if you look at all these amazing photographs online and all these fantastic photographers, do you think that they just get that every time they go out? No, absolutely not. You've got to get out time and time again, work on your composition, learn your camera, know how to operate it in the dark, just learn the nuances of photography, build the habit, and then when the conditions are right, yeah, it will all happen. Nope, 6-stop, way too dark. Man, that light is fading fast. Go for a 3-stop ND on top of a polarizing filter. Gives me F11, 30-second exposure. Let's see if we can just do something with this shot. Do you know what? I reckon a square crop and a nice delicate bit of processing, and this could be all right. It's all right. Maybe. Let me know in the comments.
We are settling in for the evening, cup of tea on the go and a bit of a relax. And I tell you what, whilst I'm here, just let me thank the sponsor of this video, which is MPB. So MPB is a place where you can buy, sell and trade your used camera gear. So if you've got old cameras lying around or lenses that you're not using anymore, well, you can sell them to MPB. They'll give you a great price. It's nice and easy. You just go onto the website, put in the details of the kit you want to sell them, tell them the condition that it's in. They will then send you a quote or a price, and if you're happy and accept it, they'll send you a shipping label, faff free, get paid in no time at all. I've done it myself, and it really is a great place to get rid of your old gear. Alternatively, if you want to perhaps upgrade your camera to a newer model, well, MPB have got a massive selection of used gear on their website. Alternatively, you could just do a trade. So go to mpb.com. There's a link in the description below, and if you use that link, then they'll know you've come from me. So it's definitely helpful. So definitely go and check them out. But for now, I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea and, well, not much really. Browse the internet, check the weather, and go to sleep, ready for hopefully some better luck tomorrow morning. Well, good morning, everybody. Yeah. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by the conditions this morning. Feels very still, very calm. But when you look up at the leaves, there's just a slight rustle in the leaves. A bit of movement. And if there's a little bit of movement up in the leaves here, then it means there's going to be a breeze down on the lake. We could just end up with identical conditions as we left with last night, so not what I'm hoping for. Well, as you can see, we have quite the breeze. It pretty much looks identical as it did yesterday evening. So I think what I'm going to do is go for a drive. I'm going to drive along this lake. There's another lake. We're going to go over a pass down to a third lake, and we might come across pockets of still weather. We're on the edge of the Lake District here, so that might explain why we've got this breeze. So if we head into the center, we might be able to rescue something from this morning. But for a shot from this spot here, I was really banking on lovely calm waters. Right, onwards.
So I've dropped over the other side of the mountain pass, and conditions are exactly the same, although it's a bit brighter. The sun's coming up now, the skies are starting to break, so I think I need to get the idea of a morning reflection out of my head, and instead I'm going to go into the woods while it's nice and quiet and see if we can get a nice spring shot. Because I'd like to get a shot this morning. I don't just want to keep driving and go home. That's not in keeping with the spirit of this video. It's not often that I'll take the same photograph twice, but I've just walked past this scene, which is one I shot last autumn on my Fuji GX617 panoramic film camera. And man, it looks fantastic now. It's changed so much. Like, the difference between autumn and spring is phenomenal. We've got all of these bluebells pushing through the old growth from last year. So we've got this contrast of old and new. We've got spring greens on the tree. And I just think it's wonderful. So I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to try and match the composition as well as I can. It's going to be difficult because that was shot on a medium format panoramic camera with a super wide lens. So we're going to go digital and we're going to stitch a panoramic together. But yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. Maybe one that I'll have to come back and shoot in summer and again in winter. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I quite like this. It's the first thing that really grabbed my attention. So whenever I'm shooting a panoramic digitally, there's always rules that you must abide by, one of which I've broken. But I always make sure that my tripod is level and that everything on the camera is set to manual. Manual focus, manual exposure. That way the exposures aren't changing from shot to shot and then you have a nightmare stitching it together. The one rule I have broken is I've put a polarizer on. Normally I'd never recommend putting a polarizing filter on your camera when doing a panoramic because you're going to get artifacts as you pan around, but in this instance there's no sky in my shot and the polarization is so subtle and it's just bringing out the greens and the colors in the foreground. I'm pretty certain I'll get away with it. So yeah, there we go, one panoramic, which to be honest, as an image, I'm not sure. I think I'm most excited really just to compare it to the same panoramic that I shot last autumn. Yeah. Alright, I have got to get back home. Now, admittedly, this probably wasn't the best in terms of photography. The conditions were kind of against me and I think maybe I didn't make some of the best location choices, but I absolutely do not regret coming out. I mean, what better excuse to get out, come camping in the van, have a bit of time to myself, go for a nice walk and just enjoy being out and about. It's photography. Photography gives us that. So I can't stress this enough, and that is that the images don't matter. The final, photography isn't about the final image. It's pretty much about just being there. So we'll end this video with my new favorite saying, 100 times already in this video so far, but yeah, F8 and be there. You'll not regret it, absolutely not, and those magic moments will come. Right guys, I'm off, so I will see you all next week. Cheers. Bye.